Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's Amiibo here, and today we have some exciting news to discuss regarding physical Square Enix games, because yesterday they announced that these are getting released physically on the Switch, even though they already are. So while those two might not be the most exciting to Final Fantasy fans, I do think it is very important and could mean a lot of things for the future of Square Enix and going back and giving their older back catalog physical releases. I made a video a few weeks ago when they announced that Limited Run Games would be handling a physical release of the first Star Ocean game on PS4 and Switch, and in that video I really focused on the Nintendo side of things, which Square Enix games don't have physical releases on the Nintendo Switch, and I honestly neglected the PS4 side of things, which is where I think it's actually way more exciting, because I did not realize how much of their catalog did not have a physical release on PS4 and PS5. A lot of great games are digital only there. So in this video, I want to take a look at these new announcements they did on Switch and PS5 yesterday, but also speculate what it could mean for the future, specifically pertaining to PS4 and PS5 releases that maybe will get a limited run release, or even from Square Enix themselves, like we're seeing with 7, 8, and 9. But if you are new here and you enjoy Nintendo and PlayStation collecting, I would appreciate you liking the video and subscribing. Let's get into it. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the channel. So this just dropped yesterday, which is funny because I was already planning on doing a video about Square Enix physical releases and what games are digital only. So they announced this yesterday morning. Play 3 classic adventures anytime, anywhere. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 are launching physically on Nintendo Switch in North America from December 9th, 2025. And I will have affiliate links in the description down below if you want to support the channel. Toss a few bucks my way, essentially, through buying through this link. I would appreciate it. They're 40 bucks each for the twin packs here. 40 bucks for 7 and 8, and then 40 bucks for 9, which feels a little imbalanced. I mean, I love 9. That's my favorite of those 3 games. But I don't know. 40 bucks for 1 game versus 2. It's a little weird. But also, as I mentioned, these are games that already have physical releases. If you just imported them, I believe they're like these Asian English releases. This one also has a European release, I want to say. The only difference here is that they will have that ESRB symbol on the box, and they will be available at retail in the United States. That's the only difference with these releases. I will be honest, I kind of have OCD about this, so I will probably end up selling these import releases and changing to these ESRB releases, because it's nice to see Square Enix going back and actually doing this. It's a little weird so late in the Switch's life cycle. I mean, these released back in, 2018, so to see them go back now definitely has me scratching my head, but it is promising for the future, and maybe even you could say is like a sign of commitment towards physical media. But that wasn't all they announced, because they also announced this double pack for PS5 owners of 7 Remake, Intergrade, and Rebirth, which is releasing on December 4th, so 5 days before those Switch releases. Only 60 bucks for both games. That is kind of crazy. I was talking to some people on my server, and they were like, oh, dude, that's going to be 100 bucks, just like the Kingdom Hearts All-in-One package was. No, $60 for this release. We don't know exactly how this is going to go. Will Intergrade still be a download like it is currently for the Yuffie DLC? Maybe it'll be on the disc now. I kind of doubt it. Based on this image, it kind of just looks like a slipcover with maybe both games inside of it, to be honest, because they even say on their tweet here that it's set across 3 PS5 discs, which would still be necessary, but the fact that it's like a thicker slipcover here definitely makes me think it's just the standard releases that we already have, which is kind of cool, but also, let's be real, they're going to sell all 3 of them together when the third part is out in like 2 years, so it's a little weird to do now, to be honest. But hey, either way, even if these are a little weird and certainly several years late, I am excited that Square Enix is going back and giving 7, 8, and 9 ESRB releases on the Switch. But also, this 2-pack is kind of interesting, which leads me to the main topic of today's video, and that is talking about what is digital only on PlayStation in particular, and what could actually end up getting physical releases, be it through limited run, like they're doing with Star Ocean, First Departure are here, or maybe even on their own, since they're clearly willing to do these. I was gonna say, like, okay, maybe this, they could do 7, 8, and 9 physically on Switch through limited run because they didn't do these ESRB releases yet. Well, clearly that's not going to happen because, well, they're doing this. So honestly, that's awesome, because it could mean that we don't have to go through limited run for a lot of these games. Although for some of these, it is kind of cool. I'm not a huge Star Ocean fan or anything. I think it's a fine franchise. I like the remake of the second game a lot. But like, if you're a huge Star Ocean fan, it's pretty cool. There's like this 6th special edition, right? Square Enix isn't going to do that on their own, I can't imagine, for an old game. So for some of these, it maybe might be nicer if limited run gets their hands on it. But we'll start off with talking about Final Fantasy. So first things first, and this is crazy. We saw limited run do individual releases of all the Yakuza games. Could they go back and do Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on both PS4 and Switch? I Don't know because they're doing this two-pack here, 7 and 8 through Square Enix, because that then would beg the question, well, why not go ahead and do 7 and 8 physically separately as well on Switch and PS4? But I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest. And I know a lot of people, myself included, would end up buying these 6 Final Fantasy games individually. Just, there's something about having all of them individually on a shelf. I don't know. Not for everybody, obviously, because you can buy the bundle for way cheaper, but I wanted to shout that out. And then, of course, 7 and 8 and 9. These games do not have physical releases on PS4 at all right now, aside from 8. 8 does have a European import and a Japanese release. It never got an ESRB release, though. And then 7 and 9, there are no physicals for on PS4 at all. And that's what I was talking about. Like, I made that video about Star Ocean a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I'm mostly focusing on Switch because I thought most of these things also had PS4 physical versions that you could import through Play Asia or Video Games Plus. The fact that there is no physical version of 7 or 9 on PS4 is crazy to me. Or what about this one, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered? I didn't hear the greatest things about this upscaling, this remaster that they did back in like 2019, but it only has a physical release in Japan on PS4 and Switch. What about an English version? Because that Japanese release doesn't have English on it. What about an English release, be it through Square Enix, through a limited run, that brings it to the West? I would be totally in for that, as well as getting a little bit crazier here. I would love to see this happen. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. This was actually how I played Final Fantasy 15 for the first time. I know, that is crazy. This would be really cool to see get a physical. I know not everybody is going to be into this, but in my opinion, basically having any type of Final Fantasy game preserved physically, being able to put it on my shelf, being able to own it, have something tangible to represent it would be really cool. And this was kind of my first way of experiencing a mainline Final Fantasy game. I don't know. I'd be pretty happy if this ended up getting some sort of physical. This one, I feel like limited run would have to foot the bill. I don't know if Square Enix would be too willing. Or this is even crazier. What about the VR game? What about Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15? This is the fishing game where you play as the boys fishing. This is a full PSVR game for PS4. I haven't heard anybody talk about it ever. What if this got a physical release through limited run or something? That would be so cool. Or even this A King's Tale Final Fantasy 15. I'll be honest, I don't really know what this is. I must have downloaded it at some point. I have no idea what it is, but maybe this could get a physical. But Final Fantasy is just one of many very long-running franchises that have a lot of digital-only games on PS4 and Switch. So let's talk about the Saga series and, by extension, Romancing Saga. So both Saga Frontier games, Saga Frontier 1 has no physical at all on PlayStation. Maybe a Japanese release, I think, maybe. But Saga Frontier 2 does have a physical Asian import release that does have English on it, but neither of these were released physically in the West, and I think that'd be really cool to see. I mean, we saw, was it Red Art Games doing Romancing Saga Minstrel Song? Let's see more of these get localized physically in the West with ESRB releases. That'd be awesome. Same thing with like Romancing Saga 2 and Romancing Saga 3. Now, I'm not sure how much demand there would be for this one in particular. Has a physical on Switch imports, but this was, of course, remade. That has a physical. That came out, last year? Apparently, it's really great. I haven't had a chance to play it. I really want to. But Romancing Saga 2 and 3, those are, I believe, once again, have import releases, but not proper like English Western releases for those games. Same thing with Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions. I don't know anything about this game, to be honest, but it's another Saga game. And then Saga Emerald Beyond, this does once again have an import release, but nothing concrete in the West. Would just be cool to see them give it a proper ESRB release, put it on retail shelves, give it a little bit more of a chance to flourish here in America. I would like to see that. Next up, we have a few HD 2D games that, when I made that original Switch Star Ocean video, I was like kind of not really thinking about the fact that these are digital only. These are some of the best modern RPGs, and they have no physical aside from on Switch. So starting off, Octopath Traveler released digitally only on PS4 and PS5. I think they shadow dropped it when it did eventually get ported years after the Switch version. It came to Xbox at some point, Steam. PS4 and PS5 was the last stop on the road for Octopath 1. No physical release at all whatsoever for this game on PlayStation. That has to change. I don't care if it's through limited run. I don't care if it's through Square Enix themselves to go back and do it themselves. This needs to get a physical release. Same thing with Live Alive. Of course, this is a fantastic remake of an SNES game or a Super Famicom game that was never localized originally. I played this on Switch, and I wasn't quite as high on it as a lot of other people, but I think I'm in the minority there because everybody I've talked to that has actually played Live Alive, they say it's one of like their favorite games, right? So that has no physical right now on PlayStation. That has to change. And then most recently, this just dropped a few months ago, I want to say, Triangle Strategy. Once again, I have not had a chance to play this one, but I've heard nothing but great things. It's one of the best tactics games of all time. This is only available physically on the Nintendo Switch. So 3 HD 2D games, 3 recent, more modern games, this one being a remake, that do not have physical releases. This needs to change, Square Enix. Now that you are working with limited run, now that you're going back and doing some of these things on Switch with Western physicals, it's time. It's time to make these happen. Also, just to throw it in there, I feel like it kind of fits the same Team Asano styling here as Various Daylife. Now, I don't think many people are too interested in this. This is one I thought had a physical on PS4 because it does on Switch. But no, Various Daylife is digital only on PS4. I would buy a physical copy of this on PlayStation. I'll be honest. Now, thankfully, Square Enix has been pretty good about keeping up with Dragon Quest releases on PlayStation so far for the past, 15 years or so, which is really nice to see. That wasn't the case a while ago. There is a physical import you can get for Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Dai Infinity Strash, but there's no Western release once again. Would just be nice to see it on store shelves or at least through a limited run release, just to give it a proper physical that you can easily access here. Also, a Final Fantasy game I actually forgot, kind of a Final Fantasy game, it's a spinoff, is Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody. This does have a Asian English release for Switch. I'm not sure if it does for PlayStation, but still, once again, just would be nice to see it happen. And then we have a few random ones. These are just completely digital only on PS4. One of them does have a physical on Switch, but nothing for PlayStation. So first up, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. I believe this is a remaster of the PSP game, correct? I've never played a Valkyrie Profile or Valkyrie Elysium game. Definitely something I want to get to eventually. I think is there one on DS? I think I have one on DS. So that would be cool to see. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition. This does have a Switch version. I do have that in my collection. Why is there no PlayStation 4 version of this? I thought for sure there was. What are we doing here? But also a game I have been curious about forever, knowing literally nothing about it, even though it's on sale right now for $8. I just haven't pulled the trigger, is The Last Remnant. This was a PS3 game by Square Enix in that kind of weird, funky era for Japanese developers, PS3 and 360. I've always been very interested in this game, even though I know very little about it. Put this out physically on Switch and PS4. This feels more like a limited run thing because it is so niche, even by Square Enix standards, but I would love to see this. Now, I'm not sure how well these would do, but I would love to see a physical Western release for I Am Setsuna. There's a Japanese that has no English on it, I want to say. Right now on sale for $12. Honestly, might do that. I've actually never finished this game. But also Oninaki. These are, of course, from Tokyo RPG Factory. They are no longer with us. They are defunct. They also did that game, A Lost Sphere, which weirdly did get a physical. That's the only one that did in America. But I played through Oninaki. I thought it was a pretty solid, pretty basic action RPG. But yeah, let's get both of these Tokyo RPG Factory games physically in the West. Please, Square Enix, let's make it happen. And then finally, just a couple of more, even though we've already gone over like 30 digital-only games on PlayStation that we want to see get re-released physically. We have all 3 Voice of Cards games. So these are from, I believe, the director of Nier Automata, Yoko Taro, I want to say. These are card games. I don't really know much about them. You can immediately tell that's a Nier art right there. Clearly some sort of collaboration. None of these have physical releases. Now, the ideal scenario would be that they release this as a trilogy pack for like, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks. But also, what if Limited Run did individuals for all of them? That would be kind of funny to see. I don't really know much about these. I don't know if like the fan reception was there. They all came out very quick, back to back, within like 12 months. So clearly they were all made together. But that would be kind of cool to see. Also, Legend of Mana. This one has a Switch physical import release, but nothing on PlayStation. This seems like a no-brainer. Also, Collection of Mana and the Collection of Saga. I didn't realize those are only on Switch. What are we doing here? Why are those not on PlayStation 4? What the heck? And then we also have 2 more Star Ocean games that I feel like, these almost have to happen, right? If we're getting First Departure R through Limited Run, surely they're going to do these other Star Ocean games. So we have Star Ocean Till the End of Time, that is digital only, as well as the Last Hope 4K and full HD remaster, digital only on PS4. I didn't even know this one was on PS4, to be honest. I had no idea until making this video. And then this one I've known about for a while. This was the PS3 game, I believe. So it'd be great to see those go alongside Star Ocean, Second Story R, First Departure R, and then have the rest of the series here. And then finally, one more Square Enix game. Unless I'm forgetting anything else, let me know in the comments down below. Not a JRPG, but The Quiet Man. Remember The Quiet Man? Yeah, I don't think anybody does. So yes, there are a lot of digital-only Square Enix titles that we might actually see get physical releases, hopefully in the near future. I know LRG is doing their big events in a couple of weeks here. Maybe we could see some more Square Enix announcements there since they're doing the Star Ocean 1 remake. But even Square Enix themselves, I mean, if they're going back to do 7, 8, and 9 with a Western release on Switch, who's to say they won't go do some of these other games on their own? Let me know which of these games you would love to see get a physical release the most in the comments down below. For me, I really want to see the HD 2D games, so Octopath Live Alive and Triangle Strategy. But honestly, I have those physically on Switch. It'd be great to have them on PS5. I want to see the other stuff that doesn't have physicals. I want to see the Last Remnants. I want to see those 2-Star Ocean games. I want to see the Voice of Card games. These games that really have no physical whatsoever, not even in Japan. I would like to see them preserved physically. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. I would put that above, I don't know, like Final Fantasy VII on PS4. I know that might be crazy, but really I want to see as many digital-only games get physical releases. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe here for more Square Enix and Nintendo and PlayStation collecting videos. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Check out my main Nintendo news channel covering a lot of Pokemon Legends EA stuff over there lately. That's also BoTalksGames, so check out that. And until next time, folks, peace.